genitalia, schlongs, boobies, or as the Danish like to pronounce them,
boobies.
showcasing these things in cinema has become much more normalized over the last few decades. At least in America, that is. The first appearance of nudity in a motion picture came in the year 1897. Does anyone want to guess which country did it first? Yeah, it was France, the country that pronounces yes as oui oui. And funny enough, film was actually invented in the late 1800s, which means the French, they didn't wait to get those titties on screen. Now you may be thinking, damn, France got on the nudity train pretty early. America didn't start doing it until like the 60s, but actually that's not entirely true. It just wasn't seen as erotic until the 60s. The silent film era is filled with a ton of what you might call artistic nudity. Actresses during this era couldn't just flop around their boobies or
Boobies.
whenever they wanted. If a director in the 19 teens or 20s wanted to showcase nudity in their film, the actress had to be stationary, like a statue, because if the actress moved around too much, that was considered erotic and took away from the artistic value of... I don't really know. I mean, I don't really buy any of this. I think they just wanted to see some titties, you know? For me personally, calling the naked human body art is a bit pretentious in my opinion, but that doesn't mean that nudity can't be a major theme in your film, and it's funny that I use the word major because I think the most effective use of nudity in a film comes from the character of Major from the anime classic Ghost in the Shell. I think the title gives a great hint as to what existential questions this film is going to ask. What does it mean to be human? What does it mean to be artificial intelligence? Can you be artificially created and still be considered a human? In this film, we follow our two main protagonists, Major and Bato. And to me, what's beautiful about the film is that we don't really get a concrete answer on how much our characters pass that threshold. Is Major completely AI? She seems to be, but she also has an immense curiosity for humanity, something that you wouldn't really see in a computer. Then, on the other hand, you have Bato, who yes, does have more personality than Major does, but he also has these cybernetic eyes, which creates a great disconnect with the viewer. They both have varied amounts of humanity and cybernetics within their bodies, but to me, it is the nudity in the film that distinctly separates these two characters. Major has a significant ability in Ghost in the Shell, the ability to be able to cloak herself and become completely invisible. But the only way she can perform this act is if she wears a skin-tight bodysuit that, yes, reveals her naked body. And there are many points throughout Ghost in the Shell where Major can be seen completely naked, even in public. And surprisingly, it doesn't seem to faze her in the least bit. However, Bato, her partner, is on the complete opposite end of this. There are moments in the film where Major will be completely naked, and Bato will cover her with a jacket, or maybe Major will be changing, and he'll look away. And I think the nudity in Ghost in the Shell showcases that immediate human reaction we have when we see a naked body, which does give the answer that Bato may not be completely human, but definitely more so than Major. Or maybe Major is just French, I don't know. You know, croissants and shit. Years later, we got the live-action American remake of Ghost in the Shell. So great that they remade a movie with so much nudity and they casted Scarlett Johansson. Sounds like a pretty unique opportunity. But America said, nah, fuck that. We're gonna cut out all the nudity. We're gonna have Major wear an actual bodysuit, completely cutting out one of the big themes from the original Ghost in the Shell. And the Ghost in the Shell remake went on to be one of the most disappointing movies ever made. To some people. I actually kind of like it. And it's hilarious to me that they did cut out the nudity in the remake because literally like 3 years before the Ghost in the Shell remake was released, Scarlett Johansson herself starred in an independent film called Under the Skin. A film about a woman who doesn't seem completely human and yet has an immense curiosity for humanity. Sound familiar? Also, Scarlett Johansson is naked for like half the movie, which, you know, nothing to do with the quality, I just wanted to point that out. So if you were disappointed in the Ghost in the Shell remake and you want to kindly 360 no-scope your way over here, no one will judge you, we're just gonna call you horny. Okay, one last one before I wrap this all up. I haven't seen this film in a few years, but it's one that I wanted to talk about because I do want to start recommending classic cinema to my audience. And I want to talk about this film because the scene itself that I'm going to bring up actually made me very uncomfortable when I saw it, and the film I'm talking about is The Graduate. A film about a, graduate who goes back to his hometown only to be seduced by Mrs. Robinson, a family friend to Benjamin, our main protagonist. But the brilliant conflict in The Graduate is that Benjamin's parents asked him to take Mrs. Robinson's daughter out, and Benjamin believes that doing this is against his best interest. Which, I mean, kinda is. He's, sleeping with her mom. Total stud, but not a great plan. There's a really telling scene in the film where Benjamin and Elaine arrive to a club. Elaine seems very hesitant to sit down at first, while Benjamin makes himself very comfortable very quickly. He's also wearing sunglasses, which, like Bateau, doesn't necessarily create a disconnect between the viewer and Benjamin, but more so between Benjamin and Elaine. And as the show begins, a stripper takes stage and begins to twirl her tassels over Elaine's head. After a moment of watching Benjamin's infatuation with the woman that's on stage, Elaine begins to cry, because she realizes that Benjamin never had any interest in her and is only interested in what's going on stage. But the scene itself isn't that simple, because after a moment of realization, Benjamin pushes the lady on stage away from Elaine after seeing her tears. And I think this scene showcases many complexities that every human shares. We are, in a way, very sexual creatures, but I think more than anything, we are protectors of what we hold dear. Is that pretentious enough for you, you disgusting, horny snaily? This isn't the first recommendation for a topic that I've ever gotten or made a video about even, but it is the first recommendation where I heard it and went, I don't actually know a whole lot about that topic. I don't know the motivation as to why somebody would put nudity in a film. Because the answer is probably different for a lot of directors. I'm sure there are some that see the naked body as art. I'm sure there are some that see it on a much deeper level than that, in the same way that Ghost in the Shell is, or The Graduate, or Under the Skin. And I'm sure that there are some directors that just want to see some titties. Look, Tommy Wiseau, I love you, but the sex scenes in the room don't make any sense. You're having sex with her belly button, my dude. But enough about me. What do you guys think about this? What's your favorite movie that incorporates nudity? It doesn't have to be in a dramatic way or a deep way. It can be for comedy purposes as well. I'm curious to know. And be sure to like and subscribe. It's fun to hit buttons. Hit the subscribe button. You only have to do it once, But yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go watch I'm gonna go watch Invincible. Yeah, so, peace.